So this is Steve, and I'm here with Dr. John Crawford.
How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
This is my first protest rally. I've been to many rallies, but never as a protester. I went all through high school, and I spent 12 more years getting my education. I've been practicing medicine for 30 years. I work for my patients. I don't want to work for the government. I have a lot of experience with government health care, with Medicare, Medicaid. Trust me, you don't want it to be all government care. You'll lose your choice. Everywhere it's been tried, you have decreased quality and decreased access and eventually rationing. And that's where it's going. This is just the camel's nose under the tent. Once we get this, it'll lead to total socialized medicine, which is a big mistake. So I think we should just kill it now, not try to pass a watered-down version, because then once again, it's just going to go further and further every year.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, John.
Okay.
Steve, and I'm here with John. He is opposed to the Obamacare.
That's right.
Why are you opposed to it, John?
The main concern that I have is that it nationalizes and socializes a healthcare system that largely works very well. At least 80% of people are satisfied with the system in general, and some 75% polled say that in particular their plan is working well, and definitely believe that despite its rough edges, that the free market system that has the best solution of all. And that's why people from other countries come to the United States to get health care that they can't get in theirs.
Is there anything else that you want to add, or I didn't really have any questions. I'm just kind of letting you guys talk about what you want to.
I'm interested in maybe what you've been hearing. And
one of the things that I've heard is that it boils down to a have and have not situation. The haves don't want to mess with it. The have-nots, they want it. That's kind of what I'm hearing.
Sure. Well, I'm a bit puzzled why Medicare and Medicaid have been ignored in this debate, because it seems like that's what their role is to do, is to capture those people that that are poor or indigent or old, or these kinds of things. To use these arguments in support of nationalizing our health care seems like it's reaching. It's a reach for the emotional angle that just isn't there. These people, I believe, they want to tell us how we should do health care. They think that if they told us what we did with health care, if they told us how we should do health care, they think that their plan would be the best. And if we just did it their way, then life would be good. And I don't believe that they have our best interests at heart. Every model that I have seen from other countries, be it Great Britain, Canada, France, all of these have rationing, they have lines, they have high costs that are hidden costs that cause the system to bog down. I don't believe those people are happy. The success rate with procedures is lower there. More people die from things like cancer and that sort of thing. A lot of people that can't afford to spend their own money on their health care will come to the United States because they can't afford it. So, everything looks bleak. Oddly, ironically, for many of the same reasons that they point out, it will only make it worse if they do it their way.
Right. Okay. What's the next step for you guys?
Well, the next step is to promote an alternative. There are some bills on the floor, bills that have been proposed and haven't gotten. We would like to see them mature and put those out there instead. There's many different ideas, especially the DeMint plan is one that I particularly favor, which uses free market-based solutions to correct some of the inadequacies of our current system without a wholesale overhaul and nationalization of our system.
How important is it for people to get involved in this and to either write their senators, write their congressmen, come out and protest with or without a sign? How important is that?
I think it's keenly important that people engage the subject, because otherwise there will be a dramatic impact in a change that the word change should not be a blank check. There needs to be, you need to fill in the blanks of what change means, and people need to engage the process enough that they understand what is being proposed and look at, you read between the lines and look at other systems that have done this thing. There's a good way and a bad way to do change, and I fear that this is the bad way.
Okay, well, John, appreciate your time.
All right, thank you.
So this is Steve, and I'm here with Christine, and she is against the Obamacare healthcare plan. Why don't you tell me, we were talking a little bit about the 9th and 10th Amendments. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about that?
Right. When it boils down to
I would love to meet your group.
going right back to the Constitution. They're in support of us, by the way. Going back to the 9th and 10th Amendment, going back to the Constitution, this is what America needs to do. We've got to get back to the Constitution. We've been drawn off to the side by welfare and all these other little goodies that they're trying to entice people with. But the more they entice them by giving them a little something, the more control they get. We've seen that in the stimulus bill. You take a little bit of money and then they're in your business, You do a little bit of this with them and they're taking off with it. Well, they've done it with our jobs. They've done it in our banking industry, and now they want to do it in our health care. They get in our health business and we're done for. I mean, you get involved with euthanasia, you're talking about the older people, you're talking about the newborns, and that's all part in the long-range plan. But if you go back to the Constitution and the 9th and 10th Amendment, we wouldn't even be worried about this at all, because the 9th and 10th Amendment tells them that they are in a very limited jurisdiction. They need to stay in their own box, basically. And we will take care of ourselves in the state. And in the older days, we did a lot more with charitable contributions, taking care of each other, watching out for mom and dad, all those kinds of things. But the more the government gets involved, and they want to become big brother, big sister, and the less, we feel that urgency, because we think, oh, they'll take care of us. But it won't happen. Even if they did it for a little bit, it's only just a guise to get in your business, take over. Then they can change anything they want. They can promise you anything, as we've heard. Once they get in office, we find out it's a big lie. We'll find out it's a big lie with this whole health care bill too. Once they get it, then they can change anything they want. They've already established the fact that they can have a federal health care system. We don't want federal health care. We want to stand on the 9th and 10th Amendment. Now this is the other thing. Indiana, with SR 42, that's Senate Resolution 42, they've already agreed that they would stand on the 9th and 10th Amendments. Which means that we need to remind our congressmen and our senators that we want them to stand on the 9th and 10th Amendments and keep the federal government out of our business. We'll all be happier in the long run. It's the long run. Obama said he wants health care just like Canada, just like New England. Well, in Canada, you have to wait hours to even get in. You take a ticket like a meat market, like you're in the meat market. And then they decide if you're worthy enough to see them. If they see somebody else that they think is more important, they'll take them first. Is that the kind of health care we want? I don't think so.
Thanks for your